Hi, my name is Maya Updegrove, and after reading Chapter 8, one thing I learned and found interesting was how climate change affects milk production and the estrus cycle. I was kind of knew livestock were affected by climate change, but I also kind of had heard that they were a major contributor as well through like the atmospheric, like the greenhouse gases and stuff. But I hadn't really done much research on it. So this book kind of helped with that, and then, or this chapter, I should say. It goes on to say that the direct effects of weather and extreme events increase thermal stress, which affects animal health, feed efficiency, growth, and reproduction. Also, milk production in that. Climate also affects quantity and quality of feed made available to livestock, which also kind of has an effect on that, and also the distribution of diseases and parasites. Seasonal variation of environment and nutrition and management alters estrus activity and duration of estrus. In times of heat stress, estrus is reduced, and when cows are exposed to high temperatures, conditions may become physically lethargic, which is typical, because like in the summers, we don't have much energy either because, it's hot and we don't really want to use too much energy either. So it kind of makes sense in that way. And then it also states that they're less likely to exhibit estrus behaviors, and heat stress also increases the amount of cortisol, which also reduces estrus behavior. So that was pretty interesting. So I guess it would kind of make it hard. The way I understand it, it makes it harder for them to conceive or have calves. So that was one thing that was interesting. And then one thing this chapter made me re-examine was the genetic approach of combating heat stress. So kind of along with what I found interesting too, in cattle particularly, there are certain breeds that are designed to be more suited for cooler climates, and we kind of learned about this in my beef cattle production class. So like Bos Indicus cattle are more suited for hotter climates because they have the big hump on the back, they have looser skin, bigger ears, and some of the breeds that kind of go in that, are the Zebu cattle, which kind of is they all kind of started, and then Brahmin, and then Gyr cattle, GYR cattle, but like Bos Taurus, they are more suited for cooler climates. So like Angus, Hereford, Simmental, they don't have the loose skin or the big hump on their backs or the big ears. They have tighter skin and that kind of deal. So it's interesting to see kind of, which breed of cattle is bred for which climate. That being said, climate change, with it becoming hotter, specifically, in Missouri, beef cattle, like, Angus, we primarily produce Angus here in Missouri, are having a harder time with the heat. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then one thing that I noticed, the book mentioned that heat stress can be mitigated by developing animals with improved thermotolerance using genetic approaches. I kind of remember we talked about in this class how they were trying, I think it was a video we watched where scientists were trying to make a breed of Angus cattle that were more suited for hotter climates. The book also kind of goes on and says, many local breeds are tolerant to extreme temperature, resistant to diseases, and survive, to survive, regularly produce/reproduce in low or poor management conditions. And then several studies have been shown that Bos Indicus embryos and embryos of Romaniano thermotolerant Bos Taurus are less effective by elevated temperature in culture than Angus or Hereford embryos. So that was something that would kind of interest me too. So anyway, that is my kind of summary of what I've learned from chapter 8. So thank you.